While the right for foreigners to vote is being debated in several European countries, EU citizens already have certain rights within the continent. For municipal and European elections, they may vote and be elected in any member state without having the nationality of the country. But rights that have been around for 20 years are still often poorly understood.
I'd always thought that when I retire, I'm going to go and live in Italy. And that's what I did. And I came here and I didn't know the area at all. And I've fallen in love with it. So much so that I want to become a local councillor.
Ella Fallgred is a Swedish citizen. After living 20 years in England, she moved to Umbria 5 years ago. Upon arrival, she became involved in local life and wished to vote in local elections, but the authorities claimed that she was ineligible to vote.
It surprised me a bit that I couldn't vote for the local elections, because when I lived in England, I always voted in the local elections. I knew I couldn't vote for the government, I could vote for the local councillors. And so then I made some research on the internet and found out that in fact I could have voted.
Today, Ella has put her name forward to be elected as part of the ecologist movement, but again she found herself tied up in red tape.
The day before we were supposed to give in our list of candidates, they told us that I needed a certificate from Sweden to say that I was eligible to vote and eligible to stand as a councillor. And so I spent a day on the phone to people in Sweden trying to get this piece of paper, which I then had to translate, take it to the court internally to say that the translation went well. They, of course, that day were closed, so we had to say, please, please, and all this. So it all worked out very well in the end. But it seemed to me that these people did not have the right information.
A lack of information and administrative barriers often led to low participation of European expatriates in local elections.
Italy is home to over 1 million EU citizens who do not have Italian citizenship. Of these, only 1 in 10 is on the electoral register and is therefore likely to use their right to vote.
But this issue is not confined to Italy. According to Giovanni Moreau, professor of political sociology at the University of Rome, it is important to defend this right that all European citizens have.
In generale, questa bassa partecipazione è grave.
In general, the low turnout is serious because the right to vote or to be elected in these local elections is a fundamental right of European citizenship, which was introduced at the time of the Maastricht Treaty. And more importantly, because this law shows that the rights of the EU citizen are based not only on blood or birthplace, the two traditional factors, but also based on residence, which is something completely new in the history of modern citizenship.
Anche sulla residenza, che è qualcosa di assolutamente nuovo nella storia della cittadinanza moderna.
The city of Marta dell'Aquila is the scene of more local elections. This is the first vote since the earthquake that devastated it 3 years ago. Today the reconstruction has barely begun in the heart of the city. Many of the workmen have come in from Romania and the population has increased dramatically. A dozen Romanians are on the list of candidates, among them Mariana Montin. She emphasizes the difficulty of mobilizing the Romanian electorate.
The problem is that we must first convince citizens to register as voters, and then you have to explain to them how it works, persuade them to vote, and accompany them to collect their ballot papers. It's double the work for our election campaign.
2 other Romanian candidates, Domitrella and Anna Monica, are involving themselves in local politics to be better integrated. Both aged 30, they've built their lives in L'Aquila and want to contribute to the building of its future.
What's motivated me is the fact that I've lived here for 8 years. I bought a house here. I have 2 sons who were born here, and I want to stay here, and I want to be like any other Italian citizen.
The Romanians are the biggest foreign community in Italy today, but they say they're often made to feel unwelcome.
I think there'll always be differences, even if we are European, because there are racist people everywhere. They treat us with indifference. There are still people who treat us as if we're slaves.
But the young women's decision to stand as candidates wasn't met with indifference. There was much congratulations, but also some negative reactions from their own community.
When a Romanian asks me, "Who do you think you are?" I show him my hands. I'm a candidate, but I work like you. I'm a home help. I'm at your service, and I, as a Romanian, can be the link between you and the town hall, between you and the law.
Choosing to live in another EU country can also lead to the loss of voting rights. Some states withdraw the rights of their citizens to vote in national elections if they live outside of their country of origin for too long.
6 countries, Ireland, the United Kingdom, Denmark, Hungary, Malta and Cyprus, all place restrictions on their expatriates' right to vote. In the UK, after 15 years outside the country, citizens lose their voting rights. Christopher Chantry, who's been living in Paris for over 30 years, finds this absurd and has campaigned actively to change the law.
There we are. There is no reason for an arbitrary 15-year cut-off point. Even though they live abroad, they're still in touch with what's going on in the home country. They watch television by satellite, they have radio by satellite, they have the internet. And so the obvious thing is to say, OK, if you're motivated to register to vote, we will let you do that.
Others advocate the extension of voting rights for European citizens in all elections, including national. This is the case of Alain Brun, a member of the European Citizens Initiative Let Me Vote.
It's about giving voting rights to European citizens in their country of residence. For example, a French national who is resident in Germany should, in our proposal, have the right to vote in all elections in Germany.
A new tool of participatory democracy, the Citizens Initiative must receive 1 million signatures to be valid.
1 million citizens from at least 7 member states can put forward a proposal they want to see addressed at the European level. So that in itself is an extremely important mechanism.
Electoral rights are one of the many aspects of European citizenship. The Commission has launched a public consultation to invite everyone to express their views on their right in the Union and the future of Europe. An assessment will be made next year in 2013, the proposed European Year of Citizens.